my name is Anshul, and today I'll walk you through the DevOps pipeline I have built using Jenkins for my Flask web application. This pipeline automates various stages including building, testing, code quality checks, deployment, and monitoring, utilizing AWS services like CodePlay, S3, EC2, and the monitoring is done using the Datadog. Now, the main objective of this project is to ensure continuous integration and continuous deployment using Jenkins. The application is containerized within the Docker, and the monitoring is handled by the Datadog within Docker, and the monitoring is handled by the Datadog to ensure high availability and performance in the production. We will walk through each pipeline stages and show the architecture that I have created and see how each service integrates to create a robust deployment pipeline. Let's begin by cloning the project repository from the GitHub. So this is my GitHub repository. The repo contains all the necessary files for the Flask production, including the main.py for the Flask server, test underscore main.py for the automated testing, the Docker file for building the container, and the Jenkins file that defines the pipeline. Now we'll start with cloning with this application. I copied my GitHub repo link and I am in my terminal. Let me clear it out. Let's start with going to documents folder. Now I will git clone my repo and open my code editor using code space dot command. So here you can see, I'm in my 6.2 HD. I will open my terminal and we'll move to 6.2 HD. No such file. Task cd task 6.2 HD, and we'll open the code editor here. Perfect. I'm gonna close this window. So here's my Jenkins file. As you can see, the repository has been successfully cloned. Now we can move on the next Jenkins pipeline where the automated stages are configured. So here is my Jenkins dashboard where I have set a multi-stage pipeline using a Jenkins file. The pipeline defines each step in the pipeline, which includes build, test, code quality analysis, deployment to staging, release to production, and monitoring. Now we will navigate through the dashboard and I will open the pipeline configuration. Or maybe what we can do, I can show you using it by creating a new item. Let's call it 6.2 HD task. It's going to be a pipeline. I'll click on OK. Now the definition of the pipeline would be script from the SCM, in which I'm going to use my SCM as Git. I'm going to paste my GitHub repo link. I'm going to add my credentials for my GitHub. And the branch for my GitHub would be main. That's the only branch I got. So instead of master, I'm going to write main. And we'll click on save. Now the Jenkins automatically triggers this pipeline every time a new code is pushed to the GitHub repo. This ensures that any changes to the code database are immediately tested, built, deployed without any manual intervention. Now in the meantime, I'm going to build my pipeline and I will walk you through my code. We'll start talking about each stages in depth, and we will be starting with our first stage, which is going to be our build stage. In the build stage, Jenkins uses the Docker file to create a Docker image for the Flask web application. Docker ensures that the application runs in a consistent environment regardless of the host system. Now this right here is my Docker image for this my web application. And here's my Flask server, which is a simple calculator API in which I have my calculator class. And in the routes, I defined several routes which will return me. So this right here is the object of calculator where I have stored the result and I have written the result in the API. So that this image, this Docker image, guarantees that the application behaves consistently in both staging and the production environment. Now we will move to the second stage, which is our test stage. The next stage is testing. The Jenkins ensure the test suite using the PyTest to ensure the Flask application functions are expected. So here's my test underscore main.py. Now here are different tests. Test to add is going to do this. If the addition is successful, it's going to pass this test. And we have similarly for subtract, multiply, and divide. And there's another test for divide, which is divide by 0. If it fails the divide by 0, it's going to raise a value error or the pipeline will stop. The test script checks for the key functionality in the Flask app, and Jenkins run these tests in an isolated environment. If any of these tests fails, Jenkins stops the pipeline, ensuring that no broken code is displayed. So we will look, our build now is still going on. Now we will move to the, so if all the stages, all the tests are passed, we can proceed to the next stage. And next stage is our code quality analysis. In the code quality analysis stage, Jenkins integrate with SonarQube. SonarQube, let me open the SonarQube. This right here is my SonarQube. Last analysis was done by 2 minutes ago. I'm still waiting for this to finish. Yep. And if I refresh my page, it's 2 minutes ago because this was continuously going on for 2 minutes. So in my SonarQube analyzes the code base for the issues such as code smell, bugs, and security vulnerabilities. If you see my overall code health, it is pretty good. This helps ensure the code quality is maintained and reduced technical debt. SonarQube scans the entire code base and generates a detailed report, flagging the potential issues such as duplicate code or inefficiencies. These metrics are vital for maintaining clean and maintainable and secure code. So if I go to my report of my output, you can see the build was successful. Making changes, building this project. Successfully installed, everything is successful. Now we are running tests. This is my second stage. Test main.py. 5 tests pass in 0.23 seconds, which is good. Now we are in our SonarQube stage, which is our third stage. Now, as you can see, the report shows no critical issues, which means we have safely moved to the deployment stage. In my deployment stage, where's my sonar? Initializing sonar. Yep, if I click on this, code quality failed as there is a major issue, which is security hotspot. Code overall health, security hotspot. Oh, make sure you disable CSR protection is safer already. So that's the feedback I got. Now we can move to the next stage, which is our deploy stage. In the deploy stage, Jenkins uses Docker Compose to deploy the Flask web application in the staging environment. This allows us to test the application in a real world before it is deployed to the production. So you can see in my Docker containers, in my builds, there's task 6.2 HD, which we just created, and it is successful. The application is deployed to EC2 instance and simulates the production environment. This ensures that any potential deployment issues are caught early. So if I try to run this, so this would be running on my localhost, I reckon. So this right here is gonna be my Docker image. Deploying using Docker. Exporting image. I remember it was in my localhost 3000, so we'll move to localhost 3000. And this is my welcome to web calculator API. If I click on add, let's say 20 and 25, oh, addition 45, this is working. So with the app running successfully in the staging, we can now prepare for the final release to production. In my release to production stage, as you can see over here, release to production stage, we are deploying this code to AWS CodePlay. The next stage is the release stage, where Jenkins use AWS CodePlay to promote the application from staging to production. AWS CodePlay ensures smooth, automated deployment to EC2 instances without any manual intervention. So here is my application in which I have a Flask deployment group. In my Flask deployment group, I have my environment configuration to integrate it with the EC2 instance, in which I have my tags name and the value Flask API. So in my Amazon S3 basket, I have Flask app deployment basket, which contain all the zip file for the code, which include all my Jenkins code, my main.py, my test.py, everything. And in my instances, you can see this is my instance, Flask app server, which is like we have integrated it to CodePlay because I have my tags and name, Flask app.server. That's how all three of them are integrated. And they all have their different IAM user permissions to access each other's data. Now, Jenkins automates the creation of deployment artifact, which is uploaded to an S3 bucket. AWS CloudPlay then handles the production to the EC2 instance, ensuring a seamless transition from staging to production. Now the app is live and fully accessible for the user. We can check it using the private public IP address. If I click on copy, so here's my production stage. And now if I go to divide 0 by 50, division 0, which is working, that's good. And if I divide 50 by 0, it's going to internal server error. It's going to raise the value error, which is working, that's good. Now if I multiply 12 by 12, it's going to give us 144, which is working, which is good. Now after all of release stage, we have our last stage, which is monitoring and alerting. Finally, in the monitoring and alerting stage, Jenkins integrate with the Datadog to monitor and the application performance in the real time. Datadog tracks the metrics such as response time, error rates, and resource uses. So if we head over to my Datadog server, it is running in my US 5 Central. And if I go to my Jenkins output report, we can access the report by clicking on this link. I click on this link. Now this is showing me the metrics for my source app. Now you can see status info, which is running. Now it's showing info. I don't have any warning error or errors as such, just one information metric as I could see over here. So Datadog alerts the team if the performance issues or error occurs. This is critical for maintaining the reliability of the production environment, as it allows the team to respond quickly to any problems. Here you can see the Datadog automatically sends an alert if any performance issue arises, ensuring the quick action to maintain uptime and reliability. So that's all the stages we have discussed, starting from build to monitoring and alerting. Now in conclusion, to summarize this, Jenkins pipeline automates the entire CI/CD process for my Flask web application, from building and testing to deploying and monitoring, by integrating tools like Docker, SonarQube, AWS CodePlay, and Datadog. I have ensured a smooth and reliable process that catches issues early and keeps the production environment stable. This pipeline reduces the risk of deployment errors and provides real-time insights into the application performance, making it an essential tool for the modern software development. Thank you for watching this demonstration. I hope this has provided valuable insights to how DevOps pipeline can help automate and streamline software development.